Call the regular monthly meeting of Rockwood City Council to order. This time I'd ask that you stand for the prayer by Mr. Ishman and remain standing, pledge the flag. Mr. Ishman.
Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for giving us safety. We thank you, Lord, for giving us some relief from the fires. And we thank you for so many blessings upon us. We thank you for this council and for this city. And we ask you, Lord, to give the council make good decisions today that'll make us a better city. And that we will be better citizens of this city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll.
Councilman Anderson. Councilman Bryant.
Here.
Councilwoman Evans. Here. Councilman Fuller.
Here.
Councilman Holloway.
Here.
Councilwoman Wilson. Here. Mayor Miller.
Here. All present for Councilman Anderson. We do have a quorum. You received the minutes from the May 24th, 2021 meeting. Is there any additions or corrections? If I hear none, do I hear a motion to be approved?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second? Second by Councilwoman Evans. Councilman Holloway. Councilwoman Evans.
Sorry about that.
Andrea, you can't take your note. You can't take your note. Anything further before we're so rudely interrupted? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Next item is presentation and approval of financials, May 21 financial reports and bank info. Do I hear a motion to be approved? Motion by Councilman Fuller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Wilson. Councilman Fuller.
I'd just like to turn it over to Ms. Ruby.
Ms. Ruby.
You should have in your packet a copy of all the bank statement information as of May 31st. In the general fund, we had $1,336,841.14. Reserve and emergency, $346,151.63. TVA Foundation Fund, $6,637. Payroll Fund, $872.57. The Drug Fund, $45,514.80. State Street Aid, $192,586.64. The Smile Drug Fund, $807.54. Special Revenue Fund, $410,462.86. Capital Projects, $5,685.48, for a total of $2,345,559.66. You also have a copy of all the bank statements in your packet. You have a copy of all the checks that were written in the month of May. And you have a summary financial statement that shows where we were at on May 31st. And we still continue to have good revenues coming in, and we feel like we're really going to close the year in June on a very good note. Everybody's within their budgets, and all is well.
Anything else, Councilman Fuller?
No, sir.
Councilwoman Wilson.
No, sir.
Anyone? Call the roll.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans? Yes. Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is public comments. We always like to allow the public to address the council and mayor. All we ask is that, we usually ask you to come down. Since we've got such a big crowd tonight, we just ask you to stand at your seat, just state your name and address. This will be the last time you'll be allowed to address the mayor and council unless a council member yields the floor to you. Anyone? Yes, sir.
Mayor Miller, City Council members, thank you for allowing me to address the council here. I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Keith Leday, and I'm a NIMBY. I'm not in my backyard. I admit this fully at the outset of this at this council meeting. Why would I do this? Why would I stand in front of you? I do this because the City of Rockwood is proposing a project that will completely obliterate my dream of 60 years and my investment of hundreds of thousands of hard-earned dollars saved over many decades to make my lifelong dream a reality. So what's that dream? I've always dreamed of owning a home on a beautiful bucolic lake, on a cove overlooking the majestic mountains of East Tennessee. I've dreamed of swimming off my own dock and boating from my own lift and watching eagles and osprey hunt and fish in the waters in front of my family room. I've dreamed of watching deer and turkey feed and play, which happens daily on the peninsula across from our family room on the TVA property off of King Creek. I've scrimped and saved and invested my entire lifetime, and in 2010, my wife and I made this dream a reality. We bought a lot and built our dream home on the King Creek embayment of Watts Bar Lake and Crystal Cove subdivision in Roane County. When we bought this property, we specifically inquired about the property directly across the creek from us, and we were assured by both realtors that it would never be developed, as this land was deeded to the city of Rockwood by TVA in 1951 with a specific designation of public recreation that precluded any commercial development. We were told the city could put in a park, some pavilions, a walking trail, playground equipment, things like that. Anything that would serve the public interest of Rockwood, but it could not make a profit on it. The shoreline was preserved for the general public's usage for free. For 70 years, this has been the case. Tom Fuller Memorial Boat Ramp has served the public well at no charge. Numerous fishing tournaments are launched from here each week. A new sidewalk and restroom facilities have recently been constructed to serve the public at no charge. So what's changed to bring me here tonight to address the City Council? We in Crystal Cove are disenfranchised here. The city of Rockwood has petitioned TVA to make a modification to this deed that has stood the test of time since the waning days of World War II. You're asking for a modification to change the deed from public recreation to commercial recreation, which would allow for a hideous 212-slip marina to be shoehorned into a small and shallow cove, along with an even more eye-burning 149-space RV campground. All of this in a narrow embayment, accessible only by a 140-foot wide mouth to the Tennessee River, where hundreds of boats and personal watercraft stream through at very high speeds, often in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. Near misses are oftentimes seen where boats are having to make defensive swerves to keep from running into each other. We've already had a dock run into with thousands of dollars of damage done to it. This would change the property from public access for free and make it only accessible to those wealthy enough to afford the luxury motor coaches or boats that would occupy these slips and campsites pretty much in perpetuity. The increase in boat traffic will be horrific. King Creek is the water source for the city of Rockwood, and the intake is only several hundred yards away. Dirty runoff from the campgrounds, campsites and the roads will run directly into King Creek. Fuel spills and raw sewage leaks and dumps from houseboats will go straight into the drinking water source, as well as Crystal Cover's docks and swimming areas. The stark darkness we enjoy that allows for beautiful views of the Milky Way will be forever blotted out with streetlights and headlights from RVs coming and going all hours of the night. The incredible quietness of a rural lake will be overtaken by the engine noises of diesel engines, and streams of hundreds of people in thin-wall campers will drown out the calls of barred owls and nocturnal birds like the whippoorwills and loons. So why are we here? And by we, I mean residents of Crystal Cove. We're very well represented here tonight. This project was not adequately announced. We held a meeting on Thursday, June the 3rd, and approximately 50 property owners directly affected by this project gathered in our pavilion in Crystal Cove, and not one of us had heard of this project. These are homeowners and property owners who stand to lose substantial sums due to property value decreases if this monstrosity is built, and not one of us knew about it. We do not believe that we were afforded the proper due diligence by being given adequate notification. No signs were posted along Pump House Road. No signs were posted along the shoreline. These would have been easily seen and noticed by those of us affected. No mailers were received. No signs were posted at our entrances. We read where only 10 people responded to the open comments prior to this, and all were positive. This is because no one knew about the project. There are 6 marinas already within a 10 to 12 mile radius. There are already 2 which have failed, the Landing and Harbor Point, and both have either been abandoned or removed, further proving that the need does not exist for even more marinas in the area. The TVA environmental assessment stated no eagle activity was noticed in their January 2020 survey. We residents of Crystal Cove see multiple eagles multiple times a day, hunting and fishing the Keene Creek embankment. There's an active eagle nest approximately 100 yards away. Building this project would be counter to the National Bald Eagle Management Guidelines. We've heard the city expects this project to bring jobs and economic development. At most, it may provide 6 to 10 minimum wage jobs for gas pumpers, cashiers, clerks, burger flippers. Look at the signs in front of almost every building or every business from Rockwood to Kingston, and you'll see help wanted signs everywhere. We don't need more minimum wage jobs. We need more people willing to work the jobs already here. There will be excessive shoreline erosion from large boats coming in. There's an inadequate infrastructure surrounding the project. Pump House Road and Caney Creek Road are not wide enough to support the large motor coaches and large boats that this will attract. Any additional tax revenues generated will most likely be used in road repairs and infrastructure upgrades to support this project. The city charter requires these types of projects to be put out to bid. Did that happen? Where are the results? In summary, we in Crystal Cove are asking for no change in a 70-year deed that has served Rockwood well in all of these years. We're not asking for anything other than status quo. Remember, the status quo here is public recreation. We are advocating the first option in the plan under Chapter 2, Section 2.1.1 of the TVA environmental assessment, which is to implement the no action alternative. Thank you again for allowing me to address this panel.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Ann Scanlon Powers, and I know most of you, and I love you, and so I'm saying these things with love. However, just a minute, let me get hold of myself. I'm not going to repeat all the many scientific and ecological reasons why this is a really bad idea. However, it is also a moral question. You know, deep in your hearts, that it's wrong to put a trailer park in the middle of nice houses that people with good faith were told were across from a TVA property that was for, you know, a deed that's for public recreation. You know that's wrong. I have to say, shame on you. You're going to do it anyway. Shame on you. I would only ask you one question, my friends. How would you like to have a trailer park next to you, next door? How would you like it? I didn't think so.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I think it's a great opportunity to bring to the community here in Roanoke County. I'm looking forward to, it's not actually a trailer park, it's an RV. Probably the RVs are more expensive than most of the homes in the lake. So I just don't see that. So there's a lot to benefit from this. I'm looking forward to be able to boat out of Rockwood and have some amenities here closer to home instead of having to go on the other side of the lake.
His
Thank
name,
you.
his name, please, public
Hey,
record.
stand up, say your name and address, I'm sorry.
Russ Brown, live in Post Oak.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Sam Brown, 280 Crystal Springs Road. I've been told by two county commissioners that the city of Rockwood and TVA have a revenue sharing agreement for this project. Is that true?
Go ahead, this is not a question and answer, and I'll go over it.
If that's true, that seems to me that you're bribing TVA to use public.
I'll go over all of it when y'all get done.
Okay. I also was questioning who will be doing the financing of this project. And so if you're not going to answer a question, can you tell me that during your answer period?
I'm not gonna speak for the developer, who his financer is, I'm not gonna do that. I don't think that's my place to do that, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Gary H., 236 Rogers Circle. I have the privilege of living in Rogers Circle on the Cove and King Creek there. A dream that started 40 years ago when I was fishing there one day with my partner. Looked over and told him, I said, that's where I want to retire. Of course, at that time I was teaching, making $12,000 a year, and I'd never do it. But at least I had a dream. But as things worked out and my career worked out, I was able to fulfill that dream. And over those 40 years, I watched as that property was first, it was just wooded, and slowly they started clearing it off, and Mr. David Poole built a house up there in about 1993, and I said, well, there goes the dream. He done bought it and built a house on it. But it did work out that I got that. And it's again, my dream retirement place. And concerning the project that is almost directly across the cove from me, I will never park an RV over there. I will never park my boat in a marina. Hopefully I will get to visit the restaurant regularly. I don't support this project for me. I support this project for our community, for Rockwood. Our small businesses in this community have gone through a rough time the last couple of years. They need something good to happen. And as we look for the future of Watts Bar, things are going to be good. The TWRA stocking of the Florida strain of bass in this lake is going to take off. I understand you're catching those Florida strain bass right now. I don't know personal experience, but people tell me that. So. And with this development that's coming, and hopefully with some additional housing, Rockwood will become a destination for people to come to. Not to come in on Saturday fishing and go home. And like I said, our small businesses need this. Our community needs this. It will certainly help us develop, provide jobs, provide income for our small businesses, again, that have suffered through some tough times. So I appreciate the opportunity to stand before you and offer my support for this project.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Lisa Day, Mary Ann, 106 Table Rock. I guess my question would be, how's that worked for Caney Creek? How's that worked for Caney Creek? We have an RV park, we have a marina, all of those things at Caney Creek. I have seen zero development happen because of what Caney Creek brings to the table. As a matter of fact, the restaurant cannot stay open. It is closed more than it is open. It is an eyesore. It's empty. It's abandoned, except for the marina. If you drive along that road, County Highway there is no businesses that have been developed. There is no new restaurants. There is no new anything. You all are delusional to think that building that will bring people to Rockwood. You have so many other things you could be looking at, like revitalizing this downtown. People are not going to come here if you don't have infrastructure to support it, and we've seen it over and over. An RV park and a marina are not bringing people to Rockwood.
Thank you.
Chris Wilson, 624 Pump House. Back in the 60s, originally Interstate 40 was supposed to come through Post Oak and then come right through Rockwood. We missed out because the Browders sold all that land on the mountain, and the interstate totally missed Rockwood. So this is one opportunity here. I don't want to see us miss that again. I appreciate Crystal Cove being here, but the lakes, that's for all residents in this community. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Nancy Miller, 323 323 South Chamberlain. I was not going to say anything, but I am a recent RV person. We started RVing last year, and I have been to several wonderful RV parks, and they're not noisy. They're not taking away from other things, as far as I can see. Look at Dayton, Tennessee, what they've done. They are huge now because they utilize that water down there. That's what we need to do as well. As for Caney Creek over there, 90-something% of the people that RV there stay there all the time. So that's why they're not helping us any, because it's like a trailer park, is what it is. And this will not be, I've been assured that if you camp at this place, there's going to be a limit to how long you can stay there. So it's not going to be a trailer park. It's going to be people coming and going, and that's what we need. We need to utilize this. We have got to do something or our town's going to die.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Michelle Kelly. I own property at 123 Coffee Circle and 116 Coffee Circle. I have lived in that neighborhood my entire life. At an infant, I was in the first house that resided in that neighborhood, which used to be across from Rockwood Beach, which is Tom Fuller Boat Dock. I want the council to know that I fully support this project, and I would like to direct my thoughts to those that oppose the marina project. I, along with many of my waterfront neighbors there on Coffee and Rogers Circle, in the Kings Creek Slough, are in support of the city development. Rumors have been circulating that we're all against it, but we are not. Most importantly, I feel if you do not live on the lakefront in the Kings Creek Slough, then this will not affect you. If you do not use the lake for any recreational purposes, then this will not affect you either. If you reside in Crystal Cove area outside of the slough in the main channel, then I do not see how this would affect you in any way. Most of the people that I have met from Crystal Cove Development are people who have moved here from out of town and were not born and raised. And I don't mean that negatively. I just want to give those folks a little bit of history. Back in the day, Rockwood was a booming town full of industry. The railroad was huge with cargo shipments coming and going. The city of Rockwood was home to the very first Chevrolet dealership in the entire state of Tennessee. And people traveled here from all over just to buy a car. And that's just one example of how big and robust this town used to be. When I was growing up here, every storefront on Rockwood Street was home to a small business or a mom and pop shop. But those times have changed, and now everyone would just jump on the interstate, headed east or west, to shop at big chain department stores and dine at commercialized restaurants. As those things have changed, it has become a challenge to increase city revenue. I myself work for a city government such as Rockwood, and I know that the main sources are property tax and local sales tax. In Rockwood, the property tax rate is low, and that rate is based on the assessment value. If you drive down the streets of town, you will quickly see that most houses are not mansions, bringing in lots of tax revenue. However, I dare say that everyone shops at the Walmart. That's wonderful, because that's the largest revenue of local tax stream that the city has. But what if the Walmart had ever decided to leave? It would devastate this small town. It could cost city employees their jobs, cut already strained and limited services, and could bankrupt the town. Small cities that rely on one large revenue source must always have a backup plan if something goes wrong. Currently, Rockwood doesn't have a lot of backup. The city pursuing this development is definitely a revenue source that could provide that backup plan. It could bring people here to spend money and spur future development. We have a God-given natural resource that is meant for all of us in Wattsville Lake. The city is trying to utilize that to create a new revenue stream, new jobs, and potential growth for Rockwood. Visitors to the area would buy fuel and groceries for weekend getaways at this new Rockwood development, which would increase the local sales tax revenue stream. Does it need to be done right? Absolutely, yes it does. I feel that under the watchful eye of the town leaders, TVA, TDEC, every other agency involved, that it would be done right. If our leaders do not create ways to provide a strong revenue stream, then there will not be money to pay for lawn care and maintenance of city properties. There will not be money to pay officers to patrol for safe streets. and there will not be money to pay firefighters and first responders to save your life. Last but not least, if you live outside the city limits and oppose this project, I challenge you to drive up and down all the city streets. Look at the small houses and all the young kids, and lots of them are living in poverty. Think about their future while you fight this project. Their only hope is that the leaders of this town are doing what is best for their future. I hope that I have enlightened some of you to a much better understanding, and that some of you will change your opinion. To those long-term native residents that are opposing, I must say that I'm in total shock. Why would you not want to see this city flourish and succeed? Not for you, but for the younger generations. Council, I can only hope that my words have made a difference. I support you, and I wish you the best success in this endeavor. Go Rockwood.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Lee Fisher, Candy Creek Road. Gentleman right over here stole all my notes about the interstate going around Rockwood and killed me. I lived here all my life. Rockwood was a booming town, gateway. My father, he used to sell meat to all the restaurants in Rockwood, Tennessee. A lot of people don't understand that Rockwood Slough is a barge terminal slough. The piers are still up in it. This could turn into barge. Now, you think something don't make waves, the barges do. I saw them come through there all my life and everything. This marina, if you haven't visited Candy Creek Marina or Candy Creek RV Park, I went there numerous times. I got a brochure. I talked to the harbor master, and I talked to the guy, he's over the RV park too. The rules on here, there's a whole sheet. 10 o'clock, it's gated going in. You have to register if you're a visitor. It's gated going in. Quiet time is 10 till 7. They patrol through there on a golf cart. If there's racket, then they're addressed, and they will not punished. I don't know what they do. But you need to visit the park out there. If you've never went to Rome County Park and walked that trail, you need to walk the trail at Rome County Park and listen at the campground. You'll never hear a dog bark. You'll never hear a door slam. I've never saw anything like it. It's a beautiful park. They got 218 slips, and they're full. They got 198 slips at the marina. They're full. Speaking about the person that said the restaurant closed down, it did close. The restaurant had to be all the flooring had to be tore out, completely redone. There will be another restaurant coming back to Candy Creek. It's in the making. So I really feel bad about this, that people are objecting to this. I lived here all my life, the city of Rockwood, and I tried to support the city. I graduated here. My kids graduated. My kids had to move out of town. They had to go to work somewhere. Guys, this is a start, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
I'm David Clifton, 119 Coffee Circle, Rockwood. I just wanted to express my opinion that I'm completely for this right here. I've been RVing for 37 years, and since I sold out my car dealership, I've been RVing more so than anybody around that I know of. I got a 42-foot big coach. I take it anywhere I can take it. I go into these RV parks, I never have a problem whatsoever. Like Lee said, 10 o'clock is quiet time, and that's the end of it. There's no raising cane or anything like that at these parks. It's not a trailer park by any stretch of the imagination, and that's I'm saying that's the way this is going to be right here. And I probably won't use this park because shoot, it's right across the lake from you. It wouldn't do me any real good to do that. But the thing about it is, I'm like Gary, I want to see this place really gather up. Some of the stuff that we've been doing in Rockwood's not working. Let's do something that will work.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let him go first.
Okay, you go first, he said.
Yeah, Vern Meyer. Actually live in Loudoun County, but we've got a vacation home in what's called Coca-Cola Beach, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, originally from Western Canada. And I started boating and enjoying lake recreation. When I was 18 years old, I saved up enough money to buy a vehicle that could pull a boat, and been pulling one ever since. But you know, I had a motto: life was too short to go back to the same lake twice. We went out and traveled all over Western Canada, all over Western U.S., Central U.S., and eventually when we moved to Michigan, we did all the Great Lakes, down to Texas, did all the lakes there. And then somebody told me about a quiet little place near Kingston, Tennessee. And we went there one summer, took the kids here, and finally I broke my motto. Life wasn't too short to go back to the same place twice. We came back 5 subsequent summers, and I told my wife, when I retire, I want to live on Wattsbar Lake. Yeah, I can understand why you folks here who lived their entire life here, because why would you ever leave? It's an incredibly special place. Can't tell you enough. I mean, all the lakes that I've seen and toured, there is nothing like Wattsbar Lake out there at all. What I like about it, the way that the TVA has created public access points so that everybody can enjoy the lake. Their commitment to keeping the lake largely undeveloped. Somebody's told me that only 30% of the lake will be developed, 70% is being kept green, and what a fantastic commitment. But I will tell you one thing. I do think that the King Creek embayment area, as special and unique as all of the Wattsbar Reservoir is, that King Creek embayment area is a particularly special place on this lake. I've remarked a number of times, you know, its proximity to Tom Ford Park allows all the public to enjoy that quiet, special place. We paddleboard in it. I can't name the countless amounts of wildlife that we've seen in those 2 little coves in the embayment area there. I was aware that it was public recreation. I was aware that at some point in time some improvements might be made. I was always hoping that Rockwood would use the opportunity to leverage the beauty of the area and the solitude of the area to try and attract more paddle sports, kayakers, canoers, paddleboarders, and make it a destination for those that actually wanted to get away from a lot of the lakes that I chose never to return to because they're so busy and developed. So from my perspective, this development really spoils a completely unspoiled and really, really unique area, not only on Wattsbar Lake, but really in this entire country and my home country of Canada. A lot of folks I sometimes take what they've got for granted, and my outside perspective is what you've got is really, really special. Putting another campground or another marina on it, to me, is going to take away something that you should be really holding dear and close to your hearts.
Thank you. You were next. Yes, sir.
Bill Anderson, as well as owning a business here in town and property in the Rockwood city limits. We also have a house in Spring City at Arrowhead. We're in the same cove with Arrowhead Marina and the campground there, and I don't notice any more traffic being right. I mean, I'm literally in the cove, so I mean, from here to the street is the marina, and if it's maintained and run correctly, you don't even know the impact there. And I mean, I have not noticed anything there, and again, that's in Spring City, but we are as close to the marina as you could be, really. And it hasn't affected our boating, it hasn't affected our traffic on our road or anything. And speaking, I'm also, many of you know, I'm involved with the museum here and the Merchants Association. We need this business here. And for the lady who said that the Caney Creek doesn't have an impact on local businesses, that's incorrect. Go talk to Kevin Hill at Cadillac Grill. He gets people from Caney Creek. Mimi's gets it. It does have an impact, all those businesses along the Caney Creek around the water does have an impact on the businesses here in downtown. And I feel it's time. I choose to live here. I've been living here 13 years. I'm not from here, never will be from here. I choose to live here because I love it, and this city needs to go forward. And I think this is definitely a good thing.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Mike Giles, 401 Nelson Street. You know where Nelson Street is, runs right up here to the lake. And I see a ton of traffic going up there. We have, the fishermen never left this area. They left it for a while because of what happened at the lake over here, and, you know, the fishing got a little worse and everything else. But I said this 11 years ago when I ran for city council here. That's one of our greatest assets that we're not using here. We're not getting any money from it. We're not getting any revenue from any of that stuff. I don't know how much revenue it's going to bring in if we have this, but, you know, why let Ray County get it all, or why let this Kingston guys over there take all the, we have to go over there to do the things that we can really do right here. And there's enough of us, if you look at these cars and these garages in town, or in the yards and stuff, there's more boats out here than there is cars half the time. And so I'm from here originally. I came and went. I left here 30, 40 years ago. You know, put my time in the service here, and I've been all over the country and the world, and this is still my home. I want this place to grow, and it's dying out. And I've said that years ago, that, you know, we really need to keep something going here, and we really haven't put our thumb on exactly what we need yet. And this is a way forward to hopefully open up a little more revenue for the city, and things for the guys and everybody that plays around this area to go in their own little hometown area instead of having to go to Kingston or Ray County. I mean, I've got a lake house in Ray County because I couldn't get one over here. But the deal is, you have to grow this and let it be known in those, you know, there's a lot of flyer magazines and papers all over the country that, hey, people want to come here because of this or because of this. I found out years ago that I think the town wants to be just kind of an antique type town. That's fine. If that's the decision we want to go with, then let's grow that. Let's take that and push it on and say, hey, come see us, come see us. We have this lake that's beautiful. We have these antique stores that have all the stuff that you never find anywhere else in the rest of the country. Let's have that get out and let everybody know it's here. Then we'll start showing, we'll start seeing some of the benefits of it. I don't see any disbenefits of it. I read that paper last week or whenever Mr. Brown, I think, wrote an article or something about it. You know, he's worried about the birds, he's worried about the intake system. I'm concerned with the intake system. Our water's not great. Our water's terrible, in my opinion, but yeah, we're doing the best we can with it, and it's going to take some money to keep it going. And if we have to put a new intake filtering system that makes it a little better, that's fine. But if you go out here right now, we've got the same amount of boats you're going to have out there in the marina, going out here all the time. So I don't think it's going to change our water that much right now. I really don't. They've got the same oils and contaminations and anything else that's going out of our boats and everything. It's there, it's already been there, it's still there, and it'll continue to be there. Now, the only way we can fix that is basically, you know, improve our water system. And I know you guys are working on that, so I just think it's a right step. A step in the right direction.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm Mary Cowan. I live on South Chamberlain Avenue, and I hear that everybody's hoping that this could help us economically. And of course, it seems to me that nowadays everything has an economic value on it. But what I was missing when I was listening to all this was how it used to be when I grew up. And I grew up in Rockwood. I was born here, went away for a time to work because there weren't any jobs in chemistry. But I came back when I retired. And but when I was living here, growing up in the 1940s and 1950s, the beach was the place to go. Everybody went there. We all had a good time. And it wasn't just kids. They had celebrations there. We used to have 4th of July things and Labor Day. It was a place for families. We loved it. And things changed, and it changed. And now it's Tom Fuller Park. which is good for fishermen, and it's probably the era of kids who wanted to swim in a lake was over. So I'm not saying that, but since everybody's given their point of view, what I would like to say is that I always felt like the lake was ours. It wasn't the people who lived there, it was everybody. If you wanted to go to the lake, by God, you could go to the lake. And you could have a good time, you know? That's what I would hope that we still have for the rest of my life, anyway.
Anyone else?
I will. Teresa Brown, Rockwood. I live on Crystal Cove. And the bathhouse, I'm going to be looking at, like I'm looking at you, Rilla. I prefer not to look at that the rest of my life.
Me too, I'm saying.
I mean, that's not why we moved there, to look at that. And there's probably 200 to 250 boats every weekend going out of this little narrow cove. That somebody's going to get killed in now if this happens. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Scott Fouts, 122 Turkey Ridge, recently retired, moved here. Same reason we all live here. It's pretty wonderful. So I don't understand the money. That's what bothers me. We came here and said, why are the taxes like this? This is a small town that's going nowhere. It has one entrance, sort of. You can't get to the interstate. The industry's gone. But the taxes, I think, came from all that industry when the town was doing so well. That would make sense. When it started to collapse, why did the taxes go down? I don't understand that. With development like this, I would expect more taxes. That would make sense. It still doesn't balance itself out. Then what are you doing with the money? How is the money getting here? How is it going to be spent? And how do you know so many things? Like the question of how are you going to afford this? You don't seem to care. You said it doesn't matter wherever the developer gets the money. Like that matters. That matters a lot. He could come in here, destroy a whole bunch of stuff, go belly up and leave. No performance bond, no surety, and the mayor said, I don't care where he gets the money. So that bugs me. The second half of it is how much money is this thing going to make? Any ideas? I mean, we know the damage that's going to be done and the changes that are going to be made, but how much is this going to be made? What's the profit loss? What's the gain? What's the risk and the reward for this project you're doing? So as I see it, there's three things that you folks are doing. You're of the people, you're by the people, voted into it, and I believe you've sworn an oath to protect our interests. So our interest is the lake and our town. So you put this in here, it's going to generate revenue, or is it? Is any revenue going to really come into the town, or is the developer planning on taking all the money for himself? So you're going to put his own little infrastructure in there and squeeze every dime he possibly can to take it for himself. Where is the plan that says when we put this in, we're going to get this much capital out of it, and then we're going to go ahead and develop and redo downtown's Main Street, or we're going to put in this restaurant, or we're going to help the museum, or we're going to do all these projects with it? I don't see any of the cause and effect that's put together. And when I hear the budget, you're fine with your budget, you have ancillary programs, but there's no design in there. There's nothing saying, wow, the downtown renovation project really needs help, and by putting this in, we're going to get all this capital, and it's going to just really help it out. And we're going to create 1,000 new jobs, and these are going to be these types of jobs for these kinds of people with this kind of education. But we're not hearing any of that from you. So I'd like to know where the money is, and secondly, why don't you seem to care? And I'd like you to uphold your oath that you are of, for, by the people.
Sir, now I've let everybody speak, and I'll let everybody speak. But you're not going to question my integrity or anybody sitting at this table's integrity. Now, do you understand what I'm telling you? I don't care what if you're against it, I'm okay with that. But you're not gonna question my integrity and ask me if I hold my oath.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. I'll have you removed, sir.
Have me removed.
I will. Chief, get him out.
Way up Old your oath.
Yes. You're not gonna question my integrity.
By, for, and of the people.
See you later.
Adios.
I'm sorry I got excited. I don't have a bit of problem with you all talking against it at all. But please don't question my integrity, because I would never question your all. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say I've fished my whole adult life all over the country, and as far as marinas are concerned, I think as far as the boat traffic, they help control the boat traffic because you have a lot of no-wake buoys put in around marinas. And right now in Rockwood, we have any no-wake buoys whatsoever. So as far as the wakes from the boat causing erosion and stuff, the marina would help in that respect, because you would have a pretty good area of no-wake buoys out there, you know, to keep the speed down on the boats and stuff. And then also, the other thing I'd like to say is, I don't think that city council here or our elected representatives has any responsibilities for what a realtor has told someone that sold them a piece of land. I think what their responsibility is to benefit the majority of the citizens in Rockwood when they make decisions, and I think they're trying to do that, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Vance Winstead. I live down near Crystal Cove, and I'd like to speak for the big boaters. I have a motor yacht, and I keep it at Terrace View Marina. I drive over there, I buy my gas at Terrace View. Ray County gets the revenues, they get the tax revenue. I have my boat repaired over there. I eat at their restaurant. We spend money there. And I have a business in Ray County, and I live in Roane County. But I get a lot of business from the boaters that come to spend the weekend at Terrace View Marina, and they come out to eat. And so I would like to offer my support to the project. And I'd like to say that I understand the concerns of my neighbors in Crystal Cove. And I know what it's like every Saturday morning or Sunday morning for all the bass fishing when the quid is out at daylight. They're going to be there. We have a premier bass fishing lake in the south. We have over 800 miles of shoreline. We're fed by 3 rivers. We've got islands and coves to anchor in. We've got one of the most beautiful lakes on this entire system. So I think that this would help the growth of the town of Rockwood, which I love. Thank you.
Anyone, hold on, let me make sure everybody else has hand in you can. Is there anyone else that'd like to speak again? Or speak, I'm sorry. Okay, Dan.
I'd like to say there's been some great arguments. In fact, if it wasn't just next door to me, you made a great talk. And I'm a Rockwoodian. I want Rockwood to do well too.
Nobody would ever question that, Ann.
I would just ask one thing. If at all possible, as this goes on, if there's any way the plan can be changed so that maybe things are back behind some trees, or I'm thinking about these folks. I'm not going to really see it. You know, I'm going to go this way. But if there's any way it could be looked at to make it a softer environmental imprint, I would beg you to do that. And otherwise, good luck.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Bilbert.
I'm not here to agree or disagree or criticize anyone. Just about everybody in here I know, and they're my friends. All of you are my friends. I'm not gonna drag this thing out. I think everything that needs to be said has been said. But I want to say one thing, and then I'll sit down. I think Mike Fuller, Councilman Fuller, had a great idea about possibility of Rockwood building an 18-hole golf course. And there's a good place for it. And that would bring people in, it would be revenue.
Thank you, Mr. Builder. Anyone else?
Can I say something that's totally unrelated to
Hold on just a second. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
I had a fire at my house yesterday, and I just wanted to say thank you to the Rockwood Fire Department, the police department, the ambulance service. Everybody was there, the whole road was blocked, and they were there promptly, and they took good care of us, and I'm so thankful to live in a small community where the fire department's 2 blocks down the road, and they saved us. So thank you to all your hard work.
Anyone else? Okay, again, I do want to apologize. I shouldn't have got tore up, but it's not the first time I've ever done that. I think most people know that. But my wife really put the skunk eye on me when I did it, so I'm sure I'm in trouble. But I won't, just don't like my integrity question. I want to go over some things, some concerns that y'all raised, and I want to go over them.
Takes a minute.
Okay, this is the 55 acres that Harry Truman deeded to us in 1951. This is all between the yellow lines, is ours. That's, as I said, that's 55 acres. The development part of the area is here. In 1976 was the first study ever done on this by the University of Tennessee students. They did a study on it. That was the first one. I have been working on this. I think this is my 5th or 6th term as mayor. I have been working on this for 17 years. I've spoken in front of the TVA board. I went through numerous meetings over the years on this. This will be, of those 32 acres that we're going to develop, 24 of them are TVA, 9's the city. It's going to be a $13 million investment. There's 100, can you go ahead to the next slide? There's 149 RV sites. You'll see them to the left. There's going to be a pool, swimming area for RV campers, and a pavilion area. The marina will be open to the public. They'll have things, for example, canoes, paddle boats, things, sailboats. They can rent those. That way we can let the people in our community that are not fortunate enough to be able to live on the lake, that they can use it. The grill is this part right here. I can't reach it, I'm too short, but right up there. That's the grill. We hope, and we're working very hard, and we've got some things going on it. We think it's going to be a nice restaurant. We really do. There's 212 boats lit, and I want to make a point to you because we're trying to do this right. Every study, starting with 1976, every study, the marina was on this point. Every one of them. Every study. We've got them if you'd like to look at them. The marina was on this point. We've moved it back in here This is shallow, someone said that, that is correct. Every one of those will have a lift and they will have a cover. There'll be some of these that are up front, but they won't be able to get out in the wintertime. But we're trying to make it, do it the right way. So we moved them back in here instead of having them out on this point. Those will be solar powered. And like I said, and we'll show you some more of how we're going to do that, or how they're going to do it. It's been brought up on numerous occasions. I've read articles where they'll go in there and they'll park their RV and they'll stay a year. That's not what this is going to be. This is going to be a 14-day maximum stay. 14 days.
EPA guidelines are 21.
Excuse me, I didn't interrupt anybody here. Just let me finish, and we need to go back, we can. This will be a maximum stay of 14 days. I want to go over, if you can go on to the marina part. This is the covered slips. This is exactly what they're using across the street from one of the richest neighborhoods in West Knoxville. It's exactly what they're using. Okay, can you go ahead? You'll see here, this is a pool. We're going to have activities, got slides. That's a picture sort of like the RV park will be. But I want to address some issues that have been brought up. And some of them, quite frankly, they're just not factual. We're talking about fuel spills and the water. Can you give me the intake? It's been said it's a couple of 100 yards. Here is the fuel platform and building. It's over 1 mile to the intake. Over 1 mile. Over 1 mile. Been measured. I don't know if the boys here did the measurement, but it's over 1 mile from where the fuel tank is. Plus the fuel tank will be in a berm. It'll have a berm around it. We're going to have fire hydrants down there, which will be able, our Rockwood Fire Department will be able to handle it, which you've already heard tonight out of Nancy, how good a job they do. So we feel, and this will be closely monitored. And think about this a minute. You've got TDEC and all these people that oversee this. This is going to be watched from top to bottom. So I wanted to bring that up. Some more things. Any commercial development, this is from Rockwood Water and Gas, any commercial development will be regulated by our cross-connection ordinance, which is in the Rockwood Municipal Code. This program is administered by a third party, Tennessee Utility Association. We are required by the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation to comply with the state laws governing cross connections and must document all compliance with our ordinance. This will require a black backflow device to be designed and installed to protect our adjoining water system prior to providing water to the site. And it goes on, and we've got some more things that we need to do that will be done on that. So it's going to be monitored and watched not only by us, but by the Tennessee Utility Association. Traffic. This one I know has been brought up. We're going to do everything we can on the website. It will lead them down. We're going to have them lead down, going down Gateway, coming Nelson Street. You know, I can't sit here and guarantee that some people won't come down Post Oak Valley or Candy Creek. But that's the way we're going to put it on the website. We talked to the developer about that. He said he had no problem doing that. We're going to encourage people. We're going to lead them out of the RV park that way. So we're going to try to force them to Nelson Street going back up that way. Lighting was brought up. We're going to have just, the curfew will be, first of all, curfew will be at 10 p.m. Minimum lighting will dim at 10 p.m. They're only going to have 6 to 8 foot poles, so you're not going to have the big high poles like you see on Gateway in those areas. So I don't think lighting will be a problem at all. It's been brought up about garbage. Well, if you're a developer and you're going to spend $13 million on a project of your money, you're going to sure keep it clean. Because if it isn't clean, they're not going to come. So he's going to make sure that it's guarded. He'll do a contract with a Waste Connections or another like company. And then he will, if the capacity gets up like he wants it to, they'll be dumped once a day. The Eagles were brought up. The TVA staff flies this area, all their areas, twice a year, looking for eagle nesting. If eagles are nesting within a quarter mile of any proposed site, there are certain regulations that you have to follow concerning when and how construction is done. And construction isn't prohibited, but they just got rules that you'll follow. Another organization that will regulate what we do. The other thing that was brought, or another thing that was brought up, was about public notice. I've heard that and heard that. I got together, or had Miss Rupi get together. This is July 2013, Roane County News. Rockwood Eyes Waterfront Development again. October 2014, high hopes for grants for Rockwood Fuller Park. Rockwood, November 2014. November 2014, another article. April 2015, this is all Roane County News. September 2019. November 2019. November 27, 2017, in a public meeting, just like we're at tonight, Council passed Resolution 1823, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Blue Ridge Development. November 27, 2017, in a public meeting. November 26, 2019, Council passed Resolution 1947 showing support for a plan requesting approval for TVA, including marina facilities, RV facilities, and all that. That was in November 2019. March 2020, the first public notice was issued by TVA. Only 10 comments were submitted, all in favor of the project. November 23rd, 2020, Council passed a 10-year Master Recreation Planning Resolution. All these things, I've got more and more I can read to you. So, for anyone to say that this was done behind closed doors, that's absolutely false. The documentation is here. If you don't read the Roane County News, or you don't look on the Facebook or whatever they put them on, I'm sorry, but that is public record. We did it in these meetings. You see it in the Roane County News. Our sales tax and related tax, this is how it's broke down. State sales tax, $500,000, property tax, and then you look at the local sales tax, $1.6 million. That's what this town lives and dies off of, is sales tax, period. It's just what makes us go. I want to close by, first of all, I want to say again, I apologize for getting upset. But my wife told me about 2 or 3 weeks ago, said, "You're making this awful personal." Well, it really is. It is personal to me. I love this community. I was born and raised here. It's been good to my family. Real good to my family. My dad came here in 1950 on the Tennessee Highway Patrol. And it is really important. Because when you run for one of these political offices that we were questioning our integrity, it's really good pay. I mean, it really is. We make big bucks. Big bucks. But we ran for it knowing that we didn't make any. But my obligation is to everyone. This council's obligation is to everyone. And I have to be able to look at these people that live in this community and tell them I did everything that I could to make it better. And I think this RV park will make it better. Is it going to solve all our problems? No. Someone brought up we need to spend our money on downtown area. When I was mayor before, we put brand new sidewalks. We put decorative lighting. We tore the town up and fixed every drain here. For you all that's been here for years, you remember our town used to flood at least once a year. Every business downtown flooded. We've not had a flood in over 20 years in the downtown area. We're spending it trying to make it better. We're doing everything we can. But we've got 2 great assets. Our lake and our people. And our people are leaving here. Our population has just dropped. It continues to drop. We've got to do things to keep people home. I understand that we're not going to hire 500 people down here. I get that. But this is a start. Let me give you an example. If we only get, not counting any sales tax whatsoever, just the fee that the developer will pay us and the property tax. What we'll get off of that, no sales tax whatsoever, is 5 cents on the tax rate. 5 cents on the tax rate. That's a lot of money to a lot of people in this community. If Walmart left tomorrow, we'd have to raise our taxes 30 cents. No question. Immediately. We wouldn't have a choice. And that may be a little conservative, but we know we'd have to raise it at least 30 cents. That would be backbreaking to a lot of people in this community. So, I understand the objections. I get it. I want you to understand what we have to do as a council and mayor to make our city the best we can. And that's the reason I've pushed for this project so long. And I will continue to push for it. And I hope it happens. So, I just wanted to make sure that everybody got the opportunity to speak. And then I want to address some of the concerns that's been brought up. And I do appreciate everybody coming. And that's it.
Can I speak, Rolo?
You'd have to have a council member yield the floor to you. If someone will yield. Oh, yeah.
You what? Gentlemen, I want to know about the solar.
So, TVA has published guidelines for campground guidance. They said those guidelines say 25% of the campground has to be set aside for short-term duration up to 21 days, not 14 days. Okay? The other 75% can be dedicated to 11 months and 15 days stay. Those guidelines are also in effect at Caney Creek, and you see how well they're enforced. Okay? I can send you those guidelines if you'd like me to.
Sure.
I'll do it. Okay? Second, this developer, did Rockwood have to bid this?
No, it's a professional service. No, sir.
What if somebody else would do it cheaper or give you a better deal?
We've already entered into, as I said, we've entered into agreement with them.
And you talked about the fuel, position of the fuel depot for the marina. You forgot there's 149 campers there. With 10 gallons of gas in each, that's 1,500 gallons of gas that are within a few hundred yards of the impact. So, y'all worry about the campsite, that's the biggest problem.
Okay. One other thing that I didn't bring up, I should have. You remember when I went back to that and I said there was 24 acres was TVA and 9 acres was city? We can go down there tomorrow as a city and make it a campground. We don't have to get any approvals, nothing. That's ours. Tents, whatever. We're trying to do this the right way. But we can, as a city, talk to TVA about it. I asked the question. We can go down there tomorrow, open it up, clean it up, and say, come in. Anybody. You've seen some of those in different areas. We don't want to do that. Not going to do that. We're trying to do it correctly. That's the reason we put this time and effort into it. So I wanted to make you aware of that. Okay. Again, we appreciate everyone coming. We appreciate your comments. If you're not interested in hearing the rest of it, you're more than welcome to go. I understand there's nothing to address on the agenda.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There's more than that.
Let's come back to order. Committee reports from council. Do we have any tonight? Councilwoman Wilson.
I've got some from Parks and Rec. Baseball season finished up, and Friday night they had a movie night with the kiddos. They watched Sandlot, and from what I understand, it went well. Also, the swimming pool, if you haven't drove by there, they pressure washed it and painted it, got the new mats down, and it looks really nice. And every time I go by there, there's a whole lot of kiddos doing the free swim. So, and for the walking competition, we had Anna Givens, which is under 18. She walked 9.6 miles from, this started May 15th to the 31st, and Melissa Carter walked 85.71 miles. So they were the winners for the month of May.
Just barely beat me, didn't
Just barely.
Any other reports?
Her minutes, we met last Wednesday night, so they didn't make it into the packet. So I'll send them out to you in the next bunch. That's why they were in the packet.
Moving on to old business, resolution 2173, a resolution approving the Cigna Local Plus plan for city health insurance for employees from August 1st, 2021 to July 31st, 2022. And this is at no increase. What's will of council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Wilson, seconded by,
No, I wanted to ask a question.
okay, anybody second? Gotta get it on the floor. Second by Councilman Bryant. Council Wilson, do you have anything?
No.
Councilman Bryant?
No, sir.
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes, I have a problem with this, as you know. And I think from this time forward, that any time that we have anything in this magnitude, that it needs to be put out for bid, rather than to go have one person go out and shop it. That's not what we normally do. And I think we need to go out and bid, put it out there, let whoever wants to bid on it, and do it the right way. Because, and I think maybe if we compared both lines of insurance, what we have now versus the new one that's being proposed. And to me, I think the new line of insurance is better for the employees rather than what we have. But that's circumventing the whole process. We can pick up where we left off and go from where we are. Or we can do a normal procedure that we need to do, and it could change. But if everyone's okay with it, that's fine. I just want from here on us to go in the right direction with this.
Anything further, Councilwoman Evans?
No.
Anything? Anyone else? Call roll.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is ordinance 1276. An ordinance for the city of Rockwood, Tennessee, adopting the annual budget tax rate on first reading. Second reading for the fiscal year July 1, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022. What's the will of the council? So moved. Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Council Lady Evans.
Whatever.
Discussion. Councilman Holloway, do you have anything?
That's just looks like a good budget, balanced budget. Like I say, our taxes are closed around. We've got, our employees gonna get a raise and bonus, so real good, it's a real good budget, and appreciate Melinda and Ms. Ruby and their pockets took part in it. Mayor, appreciate the hard work.
Thank you. Councilwoman Evans, do you have anything?
I just want to say that I think we have tremendous employees in all departments. You can ask them a question or need them for anything, and they're right there. So I don't think there's any place in this whole state of Tennessee that have better employees than we do, and I appreciate it.
Anyone else? I'd just like to say, I want to thank Belinda and Becky for the hard work that they put in on this. They did a great job. They helped lead me through it, and I do appreciate it. And I appreciate this council for your support. And I think it's an outstanding budget. The thing I like about it, we kept our tax rate where it was. We were able to give our employees a 4% raise and a $1,000 Christmas bonus. And after the performance they've done in the last year and a half, through this pandemic, I think they deserve every nickel of it. I wish we could give them more. Anything further? Call roll.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is new business resolution 2181, a resolution approving to proceed with the TDOT grant application for traffic light upgrade, approval to provide matching funds, and approval to contract with Kimley Horn as the consultant. We got prices. As you know, we've been getting complaints on our traffic lights holding too long one way or the other. Traffic lights on Gateway and Rockwood Street, the projected price is $3.5 million to replace them all. So what we've been able to do is there's a grant available through the state that our match would be $50,000 if we can get it. And what we're asking the council is allow us to apply for it, and we commit that if we get it, that we get the 50,000, that we'll provide the $50,000. That's what we're asking for in this, because I'm almost sure that we ain't got 3.5 to spend on it. So this would be a great opportunity. We may not get it, but it is an opportunity to save us a bunch of money. What's the will of the council? Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Wilson. Councilman Holloway.
Mayor, I'm getting older every day.
I'm gonna say you on.
I spend half of my time sitting over those red lights.
Just fix it. Just fix it.
That's right, so I said,
Get somebody to settle.
I'm
You
the
don't
same
need
as
to.
him. I mean, it's causing me to be late for work. We really need this.
Well, I'm saying the old philosophy they use at my place is leave earlier. Anything further? Call roll.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans? Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is Resolution 2182, a resolution adopting a private charter number 13, Senate Bill 1631, House Bill 1616. Do I hear a motion that we approve Resolution 2182?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Evans. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Wilson. Councilwoman Evans.
No.
Councilwoman Wilson.
No, sir.
Anyone? Call her up.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is Resolution 2183, resolution adopting private charter number 13, Senate Bill 1635, House Bill 1617. What's the will of the council?
So moved.
Got a motion by Councilman Fuller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bryant. Councilman Fuller, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Councilman Bryant?
No, sir.
Anyone? Call her up.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is Resolution 2184, a resolution appointing Twyla Ishman to serve on the Rockwood Civil Service Board from July 1, 2021 through July 1, 2025. What's the will of council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Lady Evans.
There you go.
Councilman Holloway, do you have anything?
I've served with her before on this committee, and she does an excellent job, so glad she's gonna serve some more.
Council Lady Evans.
Yes.
Anyone else? Call roll.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is Resolution 2185, a resolution reappointing Mike Reed to serve on the Rockwood Park and Recreation Board from July 1, 2021 through July 1, 2025. What's the will of council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Bryant. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Fuller. Councilman Bryant?
Yes, I think he'll do an excellent job, as always.
Councilman Fuller?
He'll do a great job, I'm sure.
Anyone else? Call roll.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Moving on to other business, budget amendments. I think y'all remember last month that Miss Ruby said them would be the last ones we had. Don't you remember it that way?
I remember that.
Well, I'm saying she didn't tell us the truth.
That is not true.
She said we'll have the.
Oh, Belinda, whatever she tells you, say you say. Here we go. We got a motion to approve these all together, then we'll get a second and we'll let her explain them.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Fuller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Council Lady Wilson. Councilman Fuller, yield.
I yield.
Yield to Ms. Ruby.
We did most all of our end-of-year budget amendments in May, and we always end up having a few more. So this one, the number 29, is for the police department. We had a last-minute accident with a vehicle that we had to pay $1,000 deductible, and we just moved one from one line item to the other. In the fire department, he used a lot of full-time employees during the pandemic versus part-time. And so his wages line item needed to be fixed a little bit, and he needed new tires for one of the vehicles. Just moving money back and forth within the same budget. Animal control, our shelter fees in the spring, our cat collection goes out the roof. So our shelter fees were about $700 or $800 more than we expected, so we just added $1,000 in case June is the same way. So budget number 32, building inspector. Building Inspector Ishman finally got into court on the 15th, and we've got 4 or 5 houses approved by the judge, and he brought in about probably $15,000 more in building permits than normal. So we just moved the money from building permits to demolitions to take care of those houses that the judge approved. And he continues to do an awesome job with that, by the way. In the street department, their fuel went over just a little bit for the month of May. We want to make sure it didn't go over in June, so we just moved money around in that department. Debt service, that $365,700 is where you all gave us approval to pay off the note at First Bank. So that's taking money out of the fund balance to pay off that note, and it's paid in full, correct? So the next one is airport. Fuel sales, they just keep selling it out the roof, so the more they buy, the more they sell. So we just took some more of their revenue and put it into purchases to buy more. I think they're over $95,000 now in fuel sales this year. Special revenue, that $132,650, that's all part of that Simply Bank note, because the grants are in special revenue, but we actually make the payments out of general fund, and that's all of it. That should take care of everything for the rest of the year. If anybody messes up between now and the end of the year, we'll just shoot them or something.
Council Fuller, do you have anything else?
No, sir.
Council, who made the second? Councilman
Wilson.
I don't have anything.
You have anybody else? I tell you what, to be able to pay off that note up at Simply Bank was a great thing that this council was able to do. And Belinda, you and Becky, thank y'all for that.
That helped us too, Mayor, you'll notice next month, we're closing the special revenue account, and I'll just be back in the general fund. It'll be a lot easier to keep up with.
Anything further? Call her up.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is approval of low bid to demolish condemned property at 710 Bernard Street. As you heard him say earlier, the judge approved 4 houses for us to tear down. This one was above the limit of what we're allowed to do without going through council, so we had to take bids on it. My recommendation is we take the low bid of exterior maintenance and lawn care of $7,400. What's the will of the council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Bryant. Do we have a second? Second by Councilwoman Evans. Councilman Bryant.
I'd like to say, well, I'm glad to get these down and get this going and moving on to this.
Councilwoman Evans, you have anything?
No, I'm trying not to keep our lady busy all the time. I'm running her to death, and I'm sorry about that. I apologize.
That's okay.
Anyone else? Call roll.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Comments? Councilman Bryant, do you have anything?
We've done good. Everything looks like it's moving right along.
Council Lady Wilson.
I thought you handled everything well, Mayor, and I'm excited about the marina.
Yes.
Excited for Rockwood.
Thank you. Councilman Fuller.
Well, this has been a lot better than last year's first budget. Glad we could not increase taxes, give the employees what they deserve, and hopefully we'll be moving forward with the lake project, which will create, in my opinion, a lot of other opportunities down there. So I think everything's looking up.
Thank you. Council Lady Evans, you have anything?
Nothing.
Councilman Hallwood.
Mayor, I want to say I appreciate the turnout we had tonight. We heard both sides, for and against. I just want to let everybody know I am for this marina. I think it'll be helpful for Rockwood, and look forward to seeing that.
I'd like to thank Becky and Belinda again for the time and effort that they put in on this budget. They do a tremendous job, and they have to put up with me, and I'm not very pleasant during budget time. So they did a great, great job, and I do appreciate it. I appreciate everyone that came tonight and spoke, whether they were for or against it. We welcome them anytime, and we do appreciate them coming. I want to thank our employees like I do every time, especially the ones at Rockwood Electric.
It's gonna go.
I want to thank them and the department heads for the great job that they do. They do a great, great job, and I do appreciate them. Again, I've been in this position probably way too long. But tonight's the first night that I've ever done what I did tonight. And I want to apologize. But there's one thing, as long as I sit in this chair, I will never let anybody question the integrity of these council people. Because they do this for very little money. They're not doing it because of the pay, they're doing it because they love this community. And I will never, never let anybody question their integrity. I'm just not going to do it. And if it gets me thrown in jail, so be it. But I will not let anybody question their integrity because they do an outstanding job, and I appreciate every one of them. So again, I want to apologize for showing out like that, but I felt like it was the right thing to do. So again, now I'm asking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Council Lady Wilson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, of course, there'd be none.